Hello and welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Karen. You know what, Matt? I am super hungry right now.
Really?
Yeah, well, I didn't have lunch and I'm so hungry. I really want to eat something.
Okay. What kind of food do you think you want to eat?
Well, I'm kind of craving for some French cuisine.
Ooh,
I don't know. French cuisine is really expensive though, and I don't know where I can get it from. And I don't want to spend so much money. I don't know.
You know what? I know this great French place. It's not too expensive. How about I go there and pick you up some excellent French food?
You're kidding me, right?
No.
Would you really do that?
I would do that for you, Karen.
Matt, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. How long is it gonna take?
Maybe 30 minutes and I'll be back.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, I owe you one. French cuisine, delicious French cuisine. Matt's the sweetest guy ever. Matt, you're back! Yay! I'm so hungry right now, but I thought you were gonna get me some French cuisine.
I did get you some French cuisine. It's
I
right
didn't smell anything.
here.
What? This is what you got me?
Beautiful, right?
What is this?
That's French cuisine. This is French bread.
Then what is it called? Is it a special name?
It's called a baguette, and it's the most popular kind of French bread.
It's only 34 NT dollars.
Yeah,
Right?
excellent deal. Because, you know, it was a few days old, so even cheaper.
That's why it's on discount.
Yeah, they had some fresh ones, but I thought, you know, save a little money, get the older ones. It'd be good to save the money.
I thought you were going to like a French place or French restaurant.
I did go to a French place.
Where?
It's Carrefour. Carrefour's a French place.
Okay, well, thank you, Matt.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you anyways. Well, I guess I'll go enjoy that. And then we are talking about something related to French too, right?
That's
Are we
right.
talking about the French bread today?
Yes, we're talking about French bread today.
Okay.
So I hope you enjoy your lunch.
Okay, I will. Thank you,
No
Matt.
problem.
There's nothing quite so French as a baguette, a long, thin stick of bread that's found in every French bakery in the world. But this traditional food isn't just a snack. The baguette is an important part of French culture. In fact, France even has an official competition to determine the best baguette. The winner supplies baguettes to the president for a year. The word baguette means stick, which refers to the bread shape. To be considered a true baguette, the bread must be crispy on the outside and soft on the inside.
So we're looking at part one of baguettes. The iconic French bread, right? It's the one that you got me. But I
Yeah.
do have to say, it does taste pretty good.
Yeah, French bread is excellent. I really enjoy eating baguettes, and I like French food, all kinds of French food.
Yes, actually, they're known for their food, right?
So France is very well known for having excellent food. And baguette's just one of those things. What are some other things that France is known for?
Well, I think their wine is also very famous, right? And also their cheese. And I know they also eat escargot, like the snails.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of different type of dishes, in French cuisine that's very well known. And usually when you dine in a French restaurant, it's usually really expensive, right?
Yeah, it's usually expensive and fancy,
Yes.
and the waiters will be very well trained and very polite, and so you have a very fancy dining experience usually in a French restaurant.
That's right, and that's what I was expecting from you when you said you were going to get me some French food.
Wow. They do a good job there too.
Okay, so let's learn more about baguettes.
Okay. There is nothing quite so French as a baguette, a long, thin stick of bread that's found in every French bakery in the world. But this traditional food isn't just a snack. The baguette is an important part of French culture.
Really? So it's not just any kind of bread or snack that they eat, daily, but it's something that's really important of the French culture. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's something that when you think of France, you think of the baguette, and you think of maybe you have an image of a traditional French person wearing a little hat, and a striped shirt is always the image that you see when they put a picture of a French person, and they'll probably have a baguette in his hand.
You are right. That's very iconic, right? When people think of that, and they will see that. So, in fact, France even has an official competition to determine the best baguette. So they have a competition to determine the best baguette. So determine is our vocabulary word, and that is a verb. So basically to determine just means to find out by looking closely or investigating something, right? Okay, so they have this competition. They want to see who makes the best baguette, right? And the example sentence is, the police have determined the cause of the car accident, right?
So that means they found out, maybe by looking at some videos or by asking people who saw the car accident, what happened.
Exactly. And the winner of the competition, the winner supplies baguettes to the president for a year. Wow.
So he has to do more work just because he won a competition?
No, well, I guess it's like an honor, right? And then they become really famous, and a lot of people probably want to come to their bakery to buy the baguettes, right?
Okay, I guess that's good. And I guess the president probably pays for those baguettes.
Yeah, probably, and probably pays quite a decent amount of money, right?
The word baguette means stick, which refers to the bread's shape. To be considered a true baguette, the bread must be crispy on the outside and soft on the inside.
Ooh, delicious.
So that baguette I brought you, was it crispy on the outside and soft on the inside?
Yes, it was. So crispy on the outside, it's like, very crunchy, and on the inside, still very soft. It tastes really, really delicious. I really enjoyed it. So we were talking about, the competition they had. So in every country, they have this, famous dish that represents the country. So in France, we have baguettes, but in Taiwan, we also have, like a beef noodle competition, right?
Yeah, they have this beef noodle competition every year, just like the baguette competition. And the winner of the beef noodle competition will become very popular, and the people will line up at the restaurant to try that beef noodle.
Exactly, especially in Taiwan. Anything that's really, really delicious, people are willing to line up for hours and hours just to get a taste of it.
Yeah, that was a big surprise for me, and I'm not someone who wants to wait in line. So if there ever is a long line, I'll just choose a place nearby that has the same food that's maybe not as delicious, but takes less time.
You don't want to waste your time, right? Okay, well, how about let's take a short break, and we'll be back to learn more. Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的课文标题是 Baguettes, the iconic French bread. 长棍面包最能代表法国的面包。那么 baguette 就是长棍面包。在这边用到一个 iconic 这个形容词，它是形容具代表性的，或者是非常受欢迎，尤其是只能够代表某一个观点或是时代非常受欢迎的东西。好，那老师们一开始聊到说具代表性的法国食物。Karen 老师他提到这个 escargot 就是指食用蝸牛。那么课文写到说，没有什么比长棍面包更法国了。这种传统食物呢，它不只是点心，它是法国文化重要的一部分。那事实上，法国甚至有一个官方比赛来决定最好的长棍面包，获胜者呢会为总统提供1年的长棍面包哦。老师们就开玩笑聊到说，哇，供应1年的面包应该是有付钱吧，而且价格应该还不错啦。好，那么 decent 这个字 D-E-C-E-N-T decent 可以用来形容是还不错的，或是蛮好的，或是像样的。那课文单字 determine 这个动词，它表示决定或是确定。课文接着写到说 baguette 这个字的意思呢是棍子，它指的是这种面包的形状。那要被认为是真正的长棍面包，这种面包呢必须外酥内软。文中用到 crispy 来描述酥脆的，那么 Karen 老师则用到 crunchy C-R-U-N-C-H-Y
这个字形容说是松脆的，或者是嘎吱作响，咬起来就会卡吱卡吱响的那一种。好，那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是 There's nothing as 形容词 as 或者是 so 形容词 as 再加名词或动名词去表达没有什么比点点点更怎么样了，也就是什么什么它是最怎么样的。那这个句型呢，就是用否定字词 nothing 去搭配原级比较 as 形容词 as 或者是 so 形容词 as 去表达出最高级的语义。像 There's nothing quite as refreshing as an ice cold drink on a hot summer day。炎炎夏日来一杯冰凉的饮料是最凉爽的，没有什么比这更凉爽了。好，那么句子里面它加入 quite 就是去做强调，用来表达非常或是很的意思。接发课文中。
It must also be prepared with only 4 ingredients: wheat flour, water, yeast, and salt. Last, a standard baguette should be about 65 centimeters long. According to one legend, the baguette was created in Austria by a baker who introduced the steam oven to France in 1839. This baking method made it possible to bake bread with a crispy crust and light center. Another account says that Napoleon Bonaparte requested narrow bread for his soldiers. Unlike round, hard-to-carry breads, stick-shaped bread would slide easily into the soldiers' uniforms.
Welcome back. We're continuing to talk about the iconic French bread baguettes. We've learned that these baguettes are an important part of French culture. So important that they have a competition every year where the winner gets to serve his baguettes to the president of France.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an honor to do so, right?
Yeah. We've also learned that the word baguette means a stick, and that to be considered a baguette, it must be crispy on the outside and soft on the inside.
And very delicious, I must say. Okay, so now we're going to learn more about baguettes. It must also be prepared with only 4 ingredients: wheat flour, water, yeast, and salt. Well, actually, that doesn't sound very complicated, right? I thought they would use more ingredients than that in order to make the baguettes. Only 4 ingredients. Wow. Okay, let's learn more. Last, a standard baguette should be about 65 centimeters long. Okay, so there's a standard size. So 65 centimeters, how long is that? Maybe around, this is about 30, so maybe around like this long?
Yeah, but like your standard ruler, I think, is around
30.
30.
Yeah,
So two rulers
and then 5 more centimeters.
long.
Yeah, okay.
According to one legend, the baguette was created in Austria by a baker who introduced the steam oven to France in 1839. Okay, so it's not even originally from France then, if it was a baker in Austria. But this is, of course, just one legend. So a legend is a very old story. So maybe we don't know if this is the true story, but it's a legend. It's something that people say.
That's right. So it might not necessarily be true, right?
Now we also have another vocabulary word in there, which is steam. Steam is a noun, and it is the gas form of water. So when you heat water to above boiling, it boils because it is turning into steam.
That's right.
And we can use steam to cook things, as they have the steam oven in this story. So our example sentence says, the steam engine changed the way people worked and lived. So the steam engine is a kind of train that is driven by steam.
Okay, I see. But then you were talking about the steam oven. Now our next vocabulary word is oven. Oven is a noun. Oven is something that usually a lot of people have in their homes if they want to bake maybe bread, cookies, and cake. Sometimes I use my oven to bake some cake and cookies as well. So for example, I took the bread out of the oven a few minutes ago. I gotta be careful. It might be very, very hot still, right?
It probably smells delicious.
That's right.
Fresh bread.
Yes, I love baking. Do you bake?
I don't bake because I've never had an oven here in Taiwan.
How about back in Canada?
Back in Canada, yeah, every house I've lived in Canada has always had an oven.
Like a big one, right?
Yeah, a big oven, and my mom would bake cookies and bread And yeah, bake many things. And having fresh cookies out of the oven is a great childhood memory.
That's right. I really miss those big ovens. Okay, let's continue. This baking method made it possible to bake bread with a crispy crust and light center. Okay, so on the outside, like we said, that is the crust. Crust is like the outer layer, right? And it's very crispy and crunchy and light center. Inside will be like soft, right?
Yes. Another account says that Napoleon Bonaparte requested narrow bread for his soldiers. Okay, so there's a vocabulary word in there which is account. Account is a noun, and an account is a story or a record of something that happened. So in this case, it's an account of how the baguette came to be made. Our example sentence says, Marion provided the students with a personal account of what life was like in the 1970s. So when someone gives a personal account, it's their own story from their own experience.
Okay. And we also have this next vocabulary word here, to request something. To request something, and that is a verb. To request, basically, it's the act of asking for something. So, for example, he requested a new fork because he dropped his on the floor. So maybe when he's eating and oopsie, he dropped it on the floor, so he asked for another fork, right? So he requested. Okay, so let's continue. Unlike round, hard to carry breads, stick-shaped bread would slide easily into the soldiers' uniforms. So maybe that's why he requested these baguettes, right?
Yeah, I wonder how they slid them in, just up the arm.
Maybe because of the shape the baguettes are in, it's easier to kind of just carry it around. If you have like a really big one in a circular shape, maybe it's really hard to carry, right?
Yeah, I think so. So I think we'll find out more when we go into part 2 next time.
Definitely. I can't wait.
Thanks.
See you guys next time.
See you next time.
要被认为是真正的长棍面包，它必须外酥内软，也必须只能用4种成分制作：面粉、水、酵母还有盐。那标准长度应该是65公分左右。好，文中这个 wheat flour 就是小麦粉或是面粉，那么 yeast 表示酵母。那根据一个传说，长棍面包是由一位面包师傅在奥地利创造的。他在1839年将蒸汽烤箱引进法国。那这种烘烤方法呢，就可以让烤出来的面包外皮酥脆，然后中间是松松软软的。另一种说法则是拿破仑有要求为士兵提供细长的面包，那么条状的面包就能够方便塞进这个士兵的制服里面。如果是那种圆圆大大的，很难塞，对不对？好，那我们来看单字 steam。steam 这个名词它表示蒸汽或者是热气。oven 表示烤箱、烤炉。那么 account 在这边是当名词，表示描述啊、陈述或是报告的意思。还有 request。request 是动词，它表示要求、请求。这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 introduce 的用法。首先，它可以表达引进、传入。那么用法就是 introduce something 加上 to 再加地方，表达说把某事物引进某个地方。像 potatoes were introduced to Europe in the 16th century。马铃薯于16世纪引进欧洲。那这边是用被动语态。好，在第2个用法可以表达介绍啊、引荐或者使初次接触的意思。那这个用法是 introduce somebody to 后面可以接人或事物，表示说把某人或某事物介绍给某人，让某人初次体验到某事物。例如 Rita's brother introduced her to rock music。Rita 的哥哥介绍她听摇滚乐。再看下一个重点是 make it possible to 加原形动词，这是表达使什么成为可能。那要学这个重点之前，我们先来看 make something possible 表示使某事物成为可能。当你这个受词呢是不定词 to be 的话，我们就要用虚受词 it 去代替那个受词的位置，然后把真正的受词 to be 移到句尾，所以才会变成 make it possible to 加原形动词。好，那这个不定词 to be 的前面呢，你还可以加上 for somebody 或是 something 来表达对点点点来说。像 the internet has made it possible for us to communicate with people from around the world。 网络使我们可以跟世界各地的人沟通交流。好，以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
There's nothing quite so French as a baguette, a long, thin stick of bread that's found in every French bakery in the world. But this traditional food isn't just a snack. The baguette is an important part of French culture. In fact, France even has an official competition to determine the best baguette. The winner supplies baguettes to the president for a year. The word baguette means stick, which refers to the bread shape. To be considered a true baguette, the bread must be crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. It must also be prepared with only 4 ingredients: wheat flour, water, yeast, and salt. Last, a standard baguette should be about 65 centimeters long. According to one legend, the baguette was created in Austria by a baker who introduced the steam oven to France in 1839. This baking method made it possible to bake bread with a crispy crust and light center. Another account says that Napoleon Bonaparte requested narrow bread for his soldiers. Unlike round, hard-to-carry breads, stick-shaped bread would slide easily into the soldiers' uniforms.
Hello, I'm Matt.
I'm Chiwen.
Today we're playing Word Drop. We each have 3 cards that we haven't looked at yet, and on these cards are words or phrases that we need to fit into a conversation as smoothly as we can. So I guess I'm going to get the conversation started.
Please.
So let's take a look at our first words. I went on a small vacation last week. And when I got to my hotel to check in, the room was tiny and the bed wasn't wasn't the same as the pictures I had seen when I was booking. So I called to the front desk and I requested that they upgrade my room.
Oh. Normally when I'm on vacation, my favorite part is the food and the different things you get to try when you travel somewhere. For example, when I first visited Taiwan, I remember I loved getting buns or like soup, and the smell from the steam was really nice.
Yes, buns are great. Steamed buns are nice. And that is something interesting, is that, yeah, we didn't really have like many steamed buns and things like that in Canada when I was growing up. And actually living in Taiwan, I find that you don't see as much baked goods around as you maybe would in North America. And I think it's also interesting that, you know, most households, most apartments in Taiwan, you know, they don't have an oven.
This is true. I don't have an oven in my apartment. I don't know if you do, but I don't. When I first got to Taiwan, I think one of the bigger things that I thought was different was the types of food, obviously. And I always was so excited to try and eat all these different things, but I would have too many choices. It was hard to determine.
Yes. These... Yeah, I went to a bakery once and I was trying to get this one particular kind of bread, and I tried to describe it to the baker, but he didn't know what I was referring to.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that happens pretty often. I think when someone has one idea of something and then when you're explaining it to them, they have a totally different idea, and you're trying to tell them your side of the story, your account of events or what the thing is.
Oh, yes, okay. That's fair. What was your first word?
My first word, I have to look because I don't even remember. It was steam.
Steam. Oh, no, second one. Second one was the one I didn't.
Determine.
Determine.
See you next time.